Today's episode is brought to you by Canby Foursquare Church. Since 1978, a place to grow, connect, and serve. In-person services are back with some restrictions to help ensure everyone stays safe and healthy. For the latest, visit their website at canbyfoursquare.com.
Welcome to Now Hear This Canby,
your source for news.
The threat of a possible teacher strike was avoided this week.
There's a new, irresistibly cute creature winning over fans, and its name is Scootaloo.
Sports.
It's like Lucy in the football. You want to kick a field goal, but they take it away from you.
We had to learn how to win.
Goal can't be in the last second of the game!
And interesting conversations.
Because I'm one of the strongest girls ever, and I know that for a fact.
I just really enjoy writing gossip as if I was a bear.
With an old maid daughter that make the best moonshine in the coast.
And if it would have hit me in the face, I think I would have died. I really do.
I guarantee you would have died, man. Are you kidding me?
Oregonians likely won't know the results of the May 17th election in Clackamas County until the weekend or possibly until June. A memo Clackamas County Clerk Sherry Hall sent Secretary of State Shemia Fagan on Tuesday evening said it will take the county between 4 and 9 days to finish duplicating more than 38,000 ballots that need to be copied by hand because of printing errors. Fagan last week asked Clackamas County Clerk Sherry Hall to produce a written plan and timeline explaining how she would ensure the county finished processing more than 116,000 ballots before a June 13th deadline to certify the election results as final and official. Hall missed her deadline last Friday, asked Monday for another day, and didn't submit her memo until late Tuesday. She still didn't include a proposed timeline, but a Fagan spokesman said the Secretary of State will give Hall benchmarks to meet each day and asked her to provide daily updates on the number of ballots duplicated. Talking with reporters Tuesday afternoon, Fagan stressed that she still has full faith in Clackamas County's slow-moving election results will be accurate, though she said she found the delays incredibly frustrating and, quite frankly, just outrageous. As of Tuesday night, Clackamas County had tallied just 60,230 ballots, slightly more than half of the ballots received. The county has only duplicated 7,543 ballots, according to Hall's memo, with around 40,000 still in need of hand copying. Between 40 and 160 people are scheduled to work 5-hour shifts each day throughout June 2nd, including on Memorial Day. It takes teams of 2 about 3 minutes to duplicate a ballot, according to Hall's memo. If Hall doesn't meet the June 13th deadline, Fagan said she anticipates pursuing a court order to force the county to continue counting. The state constitution requires that every vote be counted, and state law sets deadlines. A barcode printing error that made about 2/3 of the county's ballots unreadable by machines has affected more Democratic ballots than Republican ballots, leaving voters in suspense over the outcome of a high-profile congressional race between Representative Kurt Schrader and Jamie McLeod Skinner. McLeod Skinner still leads Schrader, and ballots counted so far in Clackamas County haven't shown the level of support he'll need to overtake her. But with tens of thousands of ballots left to count, Schrader has not conceded and McLeod Skinner has not declared victory. Separately, the Secretary of State's office is investigating an election complaint filed by the McLeod Skinner campaign, alleging that Schrader's campaign observer was able to enter the observation room an hour before the building opened, and McLeod Skinner's observer wasn't allowed in. Hall said during a press conference last week that she had no idea how the Schrader observer made it in. Surveillance footage released Tuesday by Clackamas County shows an election worker talking briefly with Schrader's observer, then speaking with Hall in a lobby before opening the outside door and letting the man into an observation room. Fagan said she saw the footage minutes before speaking with reporters and was frustrated and disappointed. It's absolutely outrageous to stand in front of the public and to say one thing, then to have a video showing something very different, she said. I'm so incredibly frustrated and incredibly disappointed, and I find it outrageous that the facts came out here, and it looks to be a contradictory of what she said in the public during the press availability just late last week. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Monday it's likely that the United States will see additional cases of monkeypox in the coming weeks, but officials caution that it's harder to transmit the virus than it is to spread respiratory illnesses like COVID-19. Monkeypox, which is also spreading throughout Europe, has an incubation period of 1 to 2 weeks and often comes with flu-like symptoms, swollen lymph nodes, a rash, lesions, etc. Most people recover from the virus within 2 to 4 weeks without specific treatments, though it can be more severe in those who are immune compromised or have other illnesses. Lab tests have confirmed 1 case in a Massachusetts man. The CDC is waiting on lab results to confirm what officials expect is 1 case in Florida, 1 in New York City, and 2 in Utah, CDC officials told reporters in a press call. All the cases the CDC is investigating as of Monday afternoon are travel-associated and have occurred in men, according to Jennifer McQuiston, Deputy Director of the CDC's Division of High Consequence Pathogens and Pathology. Despite the higher than normal spread of monkeypox in the United States and Europe, she said public health officials have no reason to believe the virus has become more easily transmissible. Right now, we're not seeing any evidence that the virus has changed to become more efficiently transmitted person to person, McQuiston said. She also noted that researchers have had decades to study monkeypox to learn how it spreads and how to treat it. Much different situation than officials faced at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, when healthcare providers were dealing with a completely new virus. I know that early in COVID, we had not a lot of information, and things change as we learn more. We do know a lot about monkeypox from many decades of studying it, McQuiston said. Doses of 2 vaccines approved for treatment of smallpox that can also be used for monkeypox are stored in the Strategic National Stockpile. The CDC says monkeypox was first discovered in 1958, when 2 outbreaks of a pox-like disease occurred in colonies of monkeys kept for research, hence the name monkeypox. After months of deliberation, the Canby Cougar boys basketball team has found their next head coach. Matt Taylor, longtime Canby resident and former star high school player, will helm the Cougar boys basketball program for the 2022-2023 season, the Current has learned. Athletic Director Ben Weininger has confirmed Taylor will replace former coach Craig Evans, who stepped down this past March after 12 years at the helm of Cougar basketball. Taylor has previously worked in the high school ranks as an assistant coach for Gladstone, his alma mater. And while this opportunity marks Taylor's first head varsity coaching experience, he is by no means a stranger to the local and regional youth basketball scene. A 4-year varsity player and all-star at Gladstone High School, Taylor played college ball at Corbin University in Salem, as well as an Argentinian college traveling team during those years. Following his basketball career, Taylor coached around the state, including assisting for Gladstone, coaching AAU basketball, and hosting several camps and clinics. For the last 20 years, though, he has been a mainstay of the Canby community. 2 of his sons, Dylan and Austin, played varsity basketball, while 3rd son, Trevor, raced cross country. After years of watching his boys come through the high school, Taylor's ready to coach there. It's honestly a dream come true. The new head coach told Now Hear This, Canby, the Canby community, has been great to our family for the last 20 years, and we have been here. And I hope to give back in such a way that demonstrates how much I care about this community and what the sport of basketball can teach about life. Taylor served as president of Canby Junior Basketball for 8 years and was the coach of the 8th grade traveling team for several years. In 2017, he coached the Cougars' 8th grade squad to a state championship with a 47-41 victory over the Sherwood Bowmen. Cougar Country Hometown Sports coverage is brought to you by Rife and Huns Saker. PC. When you need an attorney, turn to the firm Canby has trusted for over 50 years. Call them today at 503-266-3456. For the latest sports news, follow us on Twitter at Cougar Country Oregon and Instagram at Cougar Country Pod. On May 23, 2005, the Canby Cougar basketball team downed the South Eugene Axemen with a dominant 7-0 victory in the first round of the OSAA 4A playoffs. Though the Cougs would fall to Summit 2 days later, it still marked a solid season for the program. It would be nearly 2 decades before Canby would win another playoff game. exactly 17 years later on May 23rd, 2022. The Canby Cougar baseball team ended that streak of a 2-1 victory over the visiting Bend Lava Bears. It was the first home playoff game for head coach J.J. Stolzig's squad since 2008. That game, a 7-1 loss to Beaverton near the start of the Cougars' second round drought, and the fans showed up accordingly, with strings of Cougar faithful packing the stands and lining the fences for the thriller. Joe Brockmiller started on the mound for Canby, with 5 groundouts and a pop fly. The senior pitcher ensured the day would not be easy for the Lava Bears from the very start, not allowing a single base runner in the first 2 innings. Ben finally managed a runner on base in the 3rd inning and quickly converted. After Zachariah Hansen reached first base via error, he advanced to second on a sacrifice bunt. A well-hit single from Jackson Bishop, the first hit of the day for Ben, pushed Hansen even further, and Nate Kohler drove him home with a sac fly to give the visitors a 1-0 lead despite having registered only 2 base runners so far. After a quiet opening 2 innings, the Cougars would not waste time getting back into the game. Brockmiller proved pitching wasn't his only forte, belting a single to left field to open the inning. After he advanced to second on a sacrifice bunt by Theo Netter, senior Bryce Oliver picked up his second hit of the day with an electrifying RBI double to bring his teammate home and tie the game 1-1. From there, Brockmiller returned to the mound and locked things down, allowing only a single base runner over the next 4 innings, and making that one well-hit single from the Jackson Bishop and the third a distant memory. It would prove to be the only hit of the day for the Lava Bears. With Brockmiller dealing nothing but strikes, all that was left for Canby was to get runners home. And though the Cougars too failed to record a hit in the final 6 innings, that didn't mean they were helpless offensively. When Mikey Gibson reached the base on an error in the 5th, it initially didn't look too promising. With the Cougar bats still quiet, he had a lot of work to do. He got things off to a good start with a thrilling steal of second base. Then he advanced to third, ensuring he would be in the right place at the right time. His scamper to the promised land came not on a hit, but a wild pitch, and gave the Cougars a 2-1 lead they can never relinquish. While the Cougars have, at times, struggled to generate offense, they have proven crafty in the business of manufacturing runs and in grinding out wins in low-scoring contests. Including Monday, Canby is 9-0 in games in which they have held opponents to 1 run or fewer. Thanks to excellent pitching from Brockmiller and fielding from the rest of the defense, Canby earned their first playoff win in 17 years in a game with a fitting ending, a called strike, 3 looking that sent jubilant Cougars pouring out of the dugout and storming across the field. The Cougars will look to make more history in their tilt with the conference champions South Medford Wednesday. Results unavailable as of this recording, but Canby was ahead 3-1 heading into the 5th inning. Let's go Cougars! One bad inning. That's all it took for the visiting Black Tornado from 20th ranked North Medford to pull off the surprising upset over number 13 Canby on Monday, derailing one of the Cougs' most promising softball seasons in many years, and ending the program's 6A era on a sour note. The Tornado scored 6 of their 7 runs in the 3rd inning en route to a 7-4 victory at Canby in the opening round of the OSAA state playoffs Monday, avenging an early season loss in which the Cougars beat them 4-0 on their home turf. Canby coughed up 2 errors and a pair of hits to load the bases for Gabby Urban, who promptly cleared them by driving a 3 RBI double down the left field line. Another error and sacrifice fly would cost the Cougs 2 more runs before they managed to escape the fateful frame, trailing 6-0. Star junior Ava Carroll, who went 4-4 on the day, got Canby on the board in the bottom of the 3rd, driving Madison Biggie home on the hard-line drive into center field. But a quick turn double play by North ended the rally almost as soon as it began, and the Tornado would get the run back with a score in the 4th. The Cougs got another chance in the bottom of the 5th when pitcher Abigail Loomis drove in Kenna Kraft and Carroll with a hard ground ball at the 3rd and a North Medford error. In the next at-bat, Natalie just brought home courtesy runner Chloe Mall on a line drive to bring the Cougars back within 3, but they would get no closer. Still, Cougar head coach Ty Kraft was proud of his team's resilience. "One thing about our team is we never give up and keep fighting all the way to the end," Kraft said. "I always appreciate our efforts every game. We just couldn't push runs home. We left too many runners on the base and needed a few more timely hits to have a chance to win the ball game. Declining enrollment fueled Canby's drop down to 5A next year, where it'll be one of the largest schools in its classification and league, just the opposite of where it typically falls in 6A and the exceptionally tough Three Rivers League. It marks the end of an era for Canby softball, a perennial playoff contender since the 80s and a winner of the state title in 1994 and 2001 at 4A, which was the largest classification at that time. But recent years have brought harder times for the Story program. While the Cougs have continued to make the postseason, Monday marked their first home playoff contest in a decade. Canby has just not made out of the first round since 2011 when they hosted and defeated Central Catholic before falling to Tualatin in the quarterfinals. However, head coach Ty Kraft sees promise in the coming year. We are excited to return 7 starting juniors next year, Kraft said, including first-team All-League Ava Carroll, first-team All-League McKenna Kraft, first-team All-League Natalie Just, and second-team All-League Ella Keel. With loads of talent moving down the Canby's new 5A Northwest Conference, be ready for a Canby softball team hungry to avenge this year's playoff loss.
Hey, Tyler. Read any good books lately?
Yeah, actually, I'm reading a really good one right now.
Awesome. What's it about?
It's kind of complicated, but there's like these 2 kids with an absent parent, and then this mysterious stranger shows up with his sinister accomplices, and they just start wreaking havoc in their lives. I think it's like a Faustian metaphor.
Wow, that sounds really dense.
It is.
Interesting, though. Who wrote it?
You know, I think it's like a doctor. Starts with like an S or something. Sos.
Tyler, are you reading The Cat in the Hat?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to. It's taken me like 2 months to get this far.
Okay. Well, hey, whatever your interest or reading level, open the world of all things books at the Book Nook in downtown Canby.
Yeah, guys, this local, independently owned and operated store is your one-stop shop for the latest releases and great deals on a huge variety of previously owned books, as well as games, art, and writing supplies and gifts.
They also do book clubs and game nights if you're looking for some fun, healthy activities right here in Canby. And hey, you know, for you, Tyler, they have a really expansive selection of children's books.
Oh, cool. Anyway, check them out on Facebook and Instagram, online at booknookcanby.com, or stop by 294 Northwest 2nd Avenue and let their friendly staff introduce you to your new favorite read. Hey, Frankie, why do you think I'd be interested in children's books?
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
I'm Roz Mason, running for Oregon Senate District 26. I am committed to funding and supporting our police. I'm a licensed armed security officer in the state of Oregon and an active member of a police chaplain association. In the Mount Hood District, we know our communities require safety provided by the police. Law enforcement officers respond to many types of calls. Across the nation, police departments are adding cutting-edge programs that diversify 911 response, sending specially trained teams to mental health or addiction crises when needed. Security is an essential function of our government. Send me to Salem, and I will work to ensure our communities benefit from the most effective safety responses, which also keep our law enforcement officers safer. Paid for by Mason for Oregon 21968.
Okay, on the Canby Conversation today, we are so delighted to be talking with Canby High School senior and athlete Tommy O'Neill. Hi, Tommy. How are you? Tommy, did we lose you?
Oh, no, here. Sorry, you glitched out. Sorry, what's...
Oh. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing good.
So you just this week are returning from participating in the state track championships, your final in a long and storied career at Canby High. You got a big smile on your face. It was a pretty good experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm glad I could go out with a bang my last race in the Canby jersey.
So you just had the one, right, in the 800?
Yes, I
Okay.
just read.
Set the stage for us a little bit, kind of what the day was like leading up to the event, kind of how you were feeling, how the team was doing. Help us kind of set the stage of what it's like. You're at, first of all, at Hayward Field, this amazing, one of the best track facilities in the world.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we decided to go down as a team Thursday night because the running events and everything started Friday. We decided to go down as a team for Thursday so that we could do some team bonding, have dinner, get a sense of what Hayward is, even though we all of us there participated at Oregon Relay. So we have raced at Hayward anyway before season, but we just wanted, go down, make sure we didn't have to leave Canby like way early in the morning on Friday and then be tired or stuff. So we decided to get a hotel early.
Yeah. And it was you, your coaches, and 4 other Canby athletes who qualified, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Good weather, a lot of excitement. What was the feel, the vibes?
Yeah, no, it was super sunny. We all made sure to take all our allergy stuff way before because
all the
pollen.
Yeah.
So we were all trying to make sure our allergies didn't kick in and took away some of our stuff that we knew we could, so we were at our full 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. You have run at a number of different distances throughout the season, but 800 is pretty much your sweet spot, right? You almost broke the school record, came within just a hair's breadth a couple of weeks ago at an event at Canby.
Yeah, I knew my strength was the 8 because I have a huge kick but I also have the endurance with it as well. Like it's not it's 2 laps. So like, obviously you have to have some endurance. It's not a full sprint, but it's still enough where you have to have a lot of speed to it as well.
Yeah. When you're going into a race, Tommy, do you do much sort of, I don't know what the Canby kind of strategy is, but do you personally or as a team, do you guys kind of research the field? Do you sort of know who your opponents are, who your competition is coming in? Or are you more just focused on what you want to do?
No, we will always scan the field. If there isn't many people that like high names and like high times, we will normally switch our plan and just go for time based because, like if there's not anyone close to me, we'll just try to focus on time, try different strategies, see what works best. And we can just kind of experiment if there's no one like that would like be close. So we want to experiment with that. But if there is people, then we'll switch up strategies and stuff and see if maybe I need to sit on him for the first lap and maybe have someone else take it out so I don't do all the work. And then I just accelerate the second lap.
Yeah.
And
obviously, state finals of 6A for Oregon High School definitely had some big names in this particular race. What was your strategy going in? Who are you kind of looking at being your top competition?
The biggest name was Parker Lau, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He was the top going into it, and he was just like me and only did the 8. So I knew he would be the freshest. And then the second guy was the kid from Roosevelt, and although we knew he ran a super, super fast prelims, and then he also had the 15 and right before the 8. So we knew to keep an eye out, but we knew he wouldn't be as fresh as Parker. So we knew Parker would be my biggest competition at that point.
Gotcha. And Parker from Barlow did end up finishing second. So that scouting report did prove to be pretty accurate, huh?
Yeah, we were neck and neck with 50 to go. So it was pretty accurate.
Yeah. So tell us about the actual race itself. What were you thinking? How did it go?
I was warming up. I definitely felt the nerves and stuff, getting especially lots of texts from my friends and stuff. And so I knew everyone.
Big crowd there?
Yeah, it was pretty packed.
Yeah.
More packed than prelims too. So you could hear the roars and stuff, even from the practice facility outside of it.
Is that a thing? The sort of aura of Hayward, all the legendary times and events that have been run there, or is that something that you're able to block out?
No, it's definitely it's definitely magical. Like the Hayward magic is definitely a thing. When the fans and stuff get loud, they did it perfect where like it almost echoes off each side and it can get real loud, which you can use as it either can hurt you and you can use it for adrenaline stuff, or it might hurt you because you might get nervous based on like what type of person you are.
And you said you were feeling some nerves. How did you deal with that?
I don't know. I just tried to take some deep breaths. Tried to block when I was in the practice facility. Tried to block out the noise so that it didn't overwhelm me. But once I took a deep breath, knew all my training would pay off. All those nights and stuff that people didn't see, I did like after practice and stuff. All the other stuff I did to prevent myself, or not prevent, like prevent injury and stuff like that too. So I knew it'd
all the years of preparation going into this one race. You know it's going to be your last performance as a Canby athlete. I can just imagine the nerves and all the things that must have been going through your guts and through your head at that time.
Yeah, but I also knew, I was like, well, I've been kind of a top competitor for most of the season, so I knew I'd be ready to show who I was, especially after Oregon relays, because that was my big shot to show who I was. But I got tripped during the race, so
right. So you got tripped during the race and you got hurt, or you just weren't able to finish because of getting tripped?
Well, I got up and I finished, but after you get tripped, and then that obviously stops all momentum. So after that, by the time I got up, they were already like almost 100 meters ahead of me. And obviously I can't close that with 300 meters to go when they only have 200.
Right. So yeah, a lot riding on this. The pistol goes, and then when you're running, are you just kind of, able to just tune everything out, just focus on putting one step ahead of the other? Is that kind of what happens to you when you're competing?
Usually there's times where I'll let the sound come back in to know, like, especially for when like races like district where I was in the lead, when I took the lead, to see how far they were behind me. So I'd like listen for footsteps or people yelling my competitors' names behind me. And so if like I heard lots of names, I could usually, okay, they're still on me. I need to go keep up opening this gap and stuff. But with Hayward, it's so loud that you won't be able to tell if they're real close or not quite, or it's just loud because it's a fun race.
Yeah. Did you feel pretty good? I mean, did you feel like things were going your way, that you might have a chance at getting exactly where you wanted to be in this race?
Yeah, my strategy, my plan worked out real well. I didn't take the lead. I let the two Jesuit kids actually took the lead from the start. And so I was sitting in fourth or fifth, kind of just sitting back, letting them do all the work, not moving my legs as much as I had to. And then when I saw kind of a gap open up, I swung wide and I took the lead with the bell lap right before the bell lap, because I didn't want to repeat what happened at Oregon relays where I got tripped because I moved right as the bell lap when we were starting the curve. And that's where I got kicked and then got tripped. So then I moved earlier. So I didn't want, because I learned from my previous mistakes. So I decided to go quicker or move earlier so that I would be able to. And I think I caught especially Parker by surprise, and no one expected me to make a move that early. So I made a huge gap already.
I was going to say that at least in races that I've seen you do, Tommy, is not always your strategy. You're more take the lead from the beginning, and 800s I've seen you run. Yeah,
I mostly take the lead when I know I should win by a little bit more than but Parker had a faster PR than me. So I'm like, okay, if I take the lead, he'll be able to go with me. So I was like, I needed to go a little smarter, not just because like previous times where we've had my coach to say, go all out the first lap, and then if you fall back, you fall back. But at state, the field is so deep. I was like, well, if I fall back, I could lose all my chances and stuff. So I had to be a little smarter tactically wise because there's a bigger, stronger field.
Yeah, yeah. And then coming into that last straightaway, you're, like you said, it's just you and Parker neck and neck. That last 50, what was that like?
Yeah, no, with 100 to go, I swung wide because I knew it's kind of called as like a slingshot. You sling yourself and it gives you a lot more motivation, or not motivation, but gives you more momentum.
Yeah.
If you slightly wider. And so I swung a little wide and I looked to my left and I see he didn't take the inside. He went to try to pass me on the outside. So I swung wide even more to make him go further than I would, so that he would travel more distance than I would. So I tried to do a little strategy there with making him do even more work than he needed to kind of hold him off as long as I could. And then with 50 to go, he got to my side. I kind of glanced over. We looked each other in the eyes. I put my head down. I knew this is where I have to go, or I won't. This is my last chance, and I don't want to give out the last 50.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So you won. Congratulations, state champion. Incredible performance. You ended up finishing in a time that finally break that school record that you've been chasing. That it stood for over 40 years, since 1979. The Canby school record. Parker's time as well. Obviously, he doesn't go to Canby, but a time that also would have broken that record. Both of you guys finish incredibly fast. Did it feel fast? That's one thing I always want to ask. Not being a track start, that you kind of tell, like, I mean, maybe you don't know to the millisecond, oh, I think I got a school record, but did it feel like, oh, that's the fastest I've done, I think?
Oh yeah, I can definitely, because like usually, I mean, I always kick hard. I have that's what I'm kind of known for, is my kick and stuff. And I knew that someone was almost gonna outkick me, so I knew that and I hit another gear, which I don't think I've had to do this season because there hasn't been that close of a gap. And I feel like I knew, and you also can look at the Megatron and stuff in the field, and you can kind of see your splits and stuff. So in my head, I could kind of tell that, oh, I hit the 600 faster than I have previous, so I knew it was gonna be faster, based. But yeah, for sure. I knew it was, I was finally glad I got it, because I missed it at districts by 6/100ths of a second, which was real frustrating. I mean, obviously I was happy that I won, but when you're that close, you're like, where in that race could I have pushed that, like literally an inch?
Right. Yeah. That's so tough when it's a game of hundredths of a second. Tommy, real quick, can you explain that terminology for folks listening that may not be clear on what you mean when you say your kick?
So it's pretty much like, like usually at the end of the race, you are sprinting as fast as you can. And that's like, so I have one of the fastest speed, like last little bit left. I have one of like the top speeds that you can kind of hit, because funny enough, my coach threw me in 400 meters right before districts to tune up to make sure I pass speed and just like work on my speed and stuff. And I actually got 4th all-time honor at Canby High School 400 meters, even though without using blocks, because that's usually what people like normally sprinters use. But since I'm a distance runner, I'm like, I'll just stand up, because I didn't want to fall down or something. Like I felt like it hurt me more than it would help me.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And that's not even one of your events, and you
that's
climbed into the top 4.
The speed I have. And so funny enough, people ask me why I didn't do it districts, because I was ranked at first in the TRL for the 400, even though it wasn't my event.
Yeah.
And I didn't, because they're right back to back. They're like next to each other. So they'd be one after the other, which wouldn't be the smartest move if I want, because I wouldn't be competitive at the state level, like very competitive. I'd barely make the finals if I did do the 400, and then I'd be so tired I would lose my 800, which is my main event. So I knew I didn't want to risk that.
Right. Well, thank you for explaining the kick thing. I didn't want folks, envisioning some sort of MMA type finish to high school track events where it goes to the map.
Hey, Frankie, I've loved working on this show with you and all, but I think it's time I go all in on becoming a full-time gamer.
Oh, yeah? That's great, but aren't you always talking about getting owned by like 11-year-olds in Warzone and stuff like that?
No. That was because my upload speeds, remember? Whenever I had to drop on someone, I would get destroyed because the internet lag.
Right. Internet lag.
Anyway, that all changed when I switched to Direct Link. My upload speeds are way faster now, and my online rank has improved a ton. Bro, I'm gonna be Twitch famous.
I'm glad to hear it. And you know, just in case, if the whole professional gamer thing doesn't work out, it will help you with uploading files for the show.
Not a chance, my man. And hey, when I become famous and bring in the big bucks from that sweet, sweet Twitch contract, you'll be the first to hear, I told you so. I've got the skills, and now I've got the reliable internet. It's just a matter of time.
I'm rooting for you, buddy. Hey, before all that, how about you remind our listeners how they can get the best and fastest upload speeds in Canby?
Just go to directlink.coop/internet or call them at 503-266-8111. Then pick the plan that's right for you. Every speed, not just their top tiers, come with unlimited data and upload speeds up to 10 times faster than other providers. Give them a call, and just like my Twitch career, you won't be disappointed.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I'm AJ. I'm your local Oddmos franchise owner.
I'm Mike, co-founder of Oddmos.
And we're the hosts of The Odd Pod, a podcast about
life in the pizza industry. We're going to have on some franchisees. We're going to have some different vendors on. We're going to get a snapshot of what goes on behind the scenes in the pizza world.
Don't forget to tell them about the sports.
There's sports.
And the crazy wacky pizza that we have every Wednesday that we create. And we also have a special guest every week as well.
And I'm Gage, OddPod's senior sports analyst.
Gage, who gave you that title?
Me.
Oh boy. Find us on Spotify and Apple Music and the Podbean.
Tell us, again, congratulations. Tell us how it kind of felt and what it was like after the race. What you experienced.
Once I hit the line and I knew I won. The emotions went all through my head.
Yeah.
I was just I was super happy, but then it also hit me. I'm done. I thought I'd have nationals, but I was just thinking that was my last time I could run for Canby. This is it. I've all this hard work. I mean, not done, but because I still have college to go to, but
for Canby.
That was my last race, and that kind of hit me hard. And then I just kind of thought about all the hard work and stuff, and it kind of, over that it finally did it.
Yeah. Did you have a moment either there after at Hayward, or maybe since you come back, just with your coaches, with Coach Millbrook, with your teammates, just kind of having a moment with them and everything you guys have accomplished and been through together?
Yeah, no, we had awards and stuff, and plus we had dinner that night too. So it was great. I got to run over and hug them and stuff after the race because they're on the, I guess, lower part of the track, so that I was able to. They were sitting in the seats right next to the track because they wanted to get up close, and so I was able to, hug them and thank them for coming to support, even though they didn't have to because they weren't competing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to talk about college and what's coming up for you. But first, I do want to hear just a little bit. You've kind of alluded to it and all of the and I just, for folks that, again, aren't athletes or aren't runners, the kind of achievement and the kind of results that you've experienced, Tommy, don't just happen by accident. There's so much hard work and training and years that go into it, and very, very difficult at times. Can you tell us just a little bit about, number one, kind of what your training process has been like over the years, how you've kind of honed yourself into this, and what's motivated you to do that?
Yeah, no, for sure. So do you want track or cross country or both, or what?
Is it very different?
Yeah. So yeah, because they're obviously the cross country is 3.1 miles, whereas the 8 mile. So there will different components and stuff. So for cross country, we'll do longer type of workouts where during so we'll start during the summer. We usually have practices around 9 a.m. and stuff. We'll, meet 6 times a week, and then Sundays is on your own. And then so we do longer workouts. We'll sometimes hit 10 miles in a day. And sometimes we'll just do speed work where it's longer than what you do for track because you still need the speed. So you do like mile repeats and stuff where you want to get a longer but still quick tempo stuff. And then, cross country will go. You'll stay fresh because you usually have 1 or 2 meets a week. It's usually every Wednesday is usually when we have it. Sometimes a couple Saturday ones. And then after cross country was over, we switch gears. We start doing more reps of shorter reps. So like you do quicker stuff and just shorter, quicker stuff so that you're get ready to like be able to spin your legs quicker, like run faster, more like times hitting the ground and stuff. And then, so Millbrook would throw me into a couple indoor meets. So I went up to Spokane, for example, during the winter and ran up there at the podium. He sent me to one at the University of Portland and stuff. We did that a couple times. And then obviously once track goes, you kind of adjust to what event you are going to do at the next meet. So whereas when he would have me do the 1500 and 3K double that week, he will have me do slightly more longer reps because they're slightly longer races. Whereas when he had me do the 15-8, he would have me do shorter reps because he wants me to get really fast tempo stuff for the 8 because he knows if I just hold my 8 pace, my 15 will be fine. So it's more just tune the shorter and longer stuff because the 15's so those two that's usually not, you don't work on that one quite as often because if you just use the 8 speed and the 3K endurance, usually your 15 will be pretty well.
Yeah. So there's training and there's the practices that your coach is prescribing that you guys are doing, especially for cross country, that you're doing as a team. But as you alluded, there were many times and many nights you're doing stuff on your own, kind of self-motivated as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I would get like mad if I felt like I didn't hit the times during practice, during the reps, like I was slightly slower than I thought. So I'd either sometimes at night go and do hill repeats or something, trying to get my endurance and trying to find that extra grit and stuff. Or like going to, when it's like downpouring, I'll still go out and run and stuff just to try to get mentally tough as well. Try not to let anything get in my way. Cause like, obviously that helped because at districts, it was downpouring the entire time, which not many people were used to.
Right. Helps because Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're out doing the stuff on your own, and especially on the hills and stuff, where are you going? Are you just going around town, or do you head over to the track? Yeah.
Throughout town. So like everyone probably knows like the 99E bridge. So that one I'll run the bridge, that whole huge hill. There's one down by the Canby Pond. That hill, I'll do that if I'm getting ready for a shorter race because it's a steep hill but short. So I try to, if I can sprint up that real quick, I feel like if I'm at a flat surface, I can even go faster. So if I get my speed going up a hill, then at a steep angle, I should be able to hit that gear at a flat surface.
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of asked about your motivation, but I imagine it was to be what you ended up accomplishing, to be a state champion. Is that right?
Yeah, I wanted to leave a legacy. I felt like I was missing just one little bit. Like, I mean, I know I was like team captain and stuff, and like my 15 time last year was pretty good, but I wanted one little bit more piece to leave a legacy and stuff. And I knew that. And especially because that 800 record was the only record that Millbrook hasn't coached. And so he told me, he's like, he'd love for me to get that record because then Millbrook has coached every single record in Canby history.
Yeah. That's awesome. Was there a part of you that wanted to, and maybe it wasn't, front of mind or your top priority or whatnot, but when you kind of think back, do you feel like there was a part of you that really wanted to show out on this big stage of your sport at the state and kind of show that you are one of the top in this, not just one of the best Canby has to offer, right? But like really among your peers around the state, one of the top in this type of athletic endeavor?
Yeah, no, for sure. After getting dead last at state last year for the 15, that lit a fire under me. And I was really upset at myself at getting dead last after putting in a lot of effort and stuff. So I wanted my revenge for that, and I wanted to show people that that wasn't who I truly was, and I have way more to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations again. So let's talk next steps. So you mentioned nationals. Is that on the horizon for you?
Yes, it's the third week in June, I think.
Okay.
I think it's June 12th through 17th or something like that.
And what does that look like?
So it's pretty much, it's basically state, but now more states can come in, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So now anyone who has ran, they have time like restrictions, I guess would be the word to use. So like you have to hit this time or faster to be able to get in. And so I ran faster than that time. So I'm eligible to run in the Elite 800 race.
That's awesome. Did anybody else from Canby hit that threshold?
Yes. So we have all the guys, so Trey, Drew, Kobe, Kessler, all those jumpers. The jumpers, all of them have qualified. Plus Kenzie Biggie, who unfortunately missed out on state by 1/10 of a second and 100th of a second in both of her events this year. So she's eligible. So she's going to run the mile and the 2 mile Hayward for nationals. So awesome. I'm excited for her to get her revenge for not making it to state.
That's insane. How do you not qualify for state? But it's just because of the numbers that they.
It's because the Oregon is has so much depth in it that it's just crazy. Because like any other state or almost any other league, she would have made it. But because TRL is also super deep, she wasn't able to get it because 2 girls made it, and then the next 2 girls got the time slots, and then Kenzie was 5th for the 800, and all the 4 girls would have been faster than some of the. There's just not enough spots for how deep especially TRL and Oregon are.
Well, fortunately, the silver lining there for Kenzie is first year, right? Very bright future ahead of her. Lots of more opportunities to show, to grow and then to show what she can do. So. Oh yeah, no, for sure. She's going to be super good. Yeah. Nationals and then college. You signed just last week, I believe, officially to go to Gonzaga.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited to go there. It'll be fun.
So tell us about that decision and what you hope to experience there, or what you are expecting.
Yeah, I reached out to Pat Tyson, who is the coach at Gonzaga, after my junior year of track. And I told him my times and stuff. And I mentioned that obviously last year was a weird year where all the COVID restrictions and the short season and stuff, because we only had weeks. And so we only had like 5 meets, and that was my first year of track. So I wanted to make sure he knew that, hey, I just started, and I'm ready to give it all my all, and I'm sure I'll improve a bunch and stuff. And he reached out, and he kept me on his mind, and then watched me through cross country, and then watched me through indoors, and he seemed really interested. And then I was kind of down to some of the final spots, and then I was, luckily enough, ran really well at one of our home meets right before I went up and visited him, and he decided that time was good enough, and then he gave me a spot on the roster. And then funny enough, that next week I PR'd by 3 seconds, where I ran against Caleb and the dual meet against Swalton, where there was actually a lot of competition in the 8. Yeah. And that's where I got a 3-second PR there. And so he was super thrilled that he made the decision, he offered me a spot, and then he showed me belief in me before I had the super good time. So that's what really leaned me towards Gonzaga, is they had faith in me before I struck real big.
Yeah. Yeah. Tommy, did you say that your first year in doing track was junior year last year?
Yeah, that was my first year of track, like officially. So technically this was my first full year of track.
Full year. That's insane.
Yeah, so I did golf my freshman year and technically sophomore, but that one was just COVID canceled, so that didn't really count.
Right. Yeah. What made you want to try track?
Well, I mean, I did cross country and all 4 years. So
gotcha. Okay, that's okay.
So I've always been a runner, and my mom did track at obviously high school, then ran at U of O and stuff. And I don't know, after thinking about it, because I was like going into junior year, especially how it went fall then spring sports last year instead of the normal season. So I was like, well, I'm coming right off of a good cross country season. And I thought about my future, and I'm like, I don't really think I'm going to get much scholarships for golf. And I decided lots of coaches love the cross country track combo. And so I thought, well, I should try to go for, if I want to actually play in college, I should focus on one sport instead of two. So I decided to hone in on running, and I switched to track. And then I think it's real well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good decision, I think. Last question I did want to ask you, just kind of what we're going off of that, but the cross country program has really been built out over the past few years during some of your tenure as well. It seems like it's in a really good spot now.
Oh yeah, no, it's looking really great, because we're only losing me and Howell next year. So, and we're dropping down to 5A. So it's kind of it really doesn't hurt us much, because we have such a young core. Like, we'll have Maddox and Jack and Ryan lead for the leaders and stuff. But then we got like Jake Tilden, Andrew Dewar, we got Rhett Smith, who are all super young, who are sophomores, and will be juniors and sophomores next year, but they're freshmen and year. So they'll be really good. And we have a couple incoming ones as well. And I think we're really ready to make another jump and try to run for a district title next year.
Awesome. Well, Tommy, thanks so much for taking time out. We look forward to watching you in nationals coming up next month, and your future exploits at Gonzaga will be fun to watch as well.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for just all your contributions to Canby sports and all your hard work over your years here. It's been fun to watch.
Thank you.
Tyler, did you know that the Australian lyrebird can mimic any sound that it hears, even chainsaws?
No, that's super interesting.
Did you know that a baby puffin is called a puffling? Or that baby sea otters can't swim, so their moms wrap them up in pieces of kelp until they learn how to paddle?
Wait, do you know any trivia that isn't like animal related?
Not really, but here's some stuff you may not know about the Wild Hare Saloon, where Canby goes to eat and have fun.
Okay.
The Wild Hare is one of Canby's longest running locally owned restaurants. Owners Joan and Darren Moden have been in business for 16 years.
That's cool.
Yeah, heck, you were just a baby back then.
Wait, what?
And they love to give back. They've been members of the Canby Chamber for that long, and they donate over $20,000 to local sports, FFA programs, and civic organizations each year.
Wow, I'm legitimately caught off. That's cool.
Yeah, they also support more than 30 jobs in the community through their award-winning staff, some of them as young as 18. Hey, that's older than you are.
Dude, I'm 10 months younger than you.
With the days getting longer and the weather getting warmer, the Canby Wild Hare's expansive outdoor patio is the place to be. Furry friends welcome.
Well, that sounds great. I'm going to go check them out just off of Highway 99E next to the Space Age in Canby at 1656 Beaver Creek Road in Oregon City, or on their website at thewildharesaloon.net. Now Hear This Canby is produced by me, Tyler Clausen. Our content director and star reporter is Tyler Frankie. And of course, our show is edited by Cameron Clausen. We also feature the vocal talents of Joyce Struby and James Walden. So a round of applause to them. The song that you're hearing right now is Canby by singer-songwriter Olivia Harms, used with her permission. To find more work from her, you can visit her website, olivia13.com.
Now Hear This Canby is dedicated to preserving independent local journalism and redefining local news with our fun, fresh, and energetic brand of storytelling. Our sincere thanks to our local sponsors who make this show possible. Please show your appreciation by supporting the small businesses who support us.
The production of Now Hear This Studios, Canby's locally owned full-service audio, video, and media production company. Our mission is to produce the best content in the universe, and we'd love to help you do it. Find us online at nhtstudios.com.
I will take a motion to adjourn.
I just moved it.
I didn't even ask for it, though.